Okay, so I need to tell you something that happened this week. I have been stressing about my blood work all week, like way more than I probably should have been. And I think part of that is just being a woman and getting older and starting to think more seriously about your health. You start wondering, am I doing the right things? Am I missing something? Is there something going on that I don't know about? So, I had this virtual appointment scheduled with my doctor to go over my labs. And of course, I scheduled it right in the middle of my workday because that's what we do, right? We squeeze doctor's appointments in between meetings and life and all of the things. So I'm sitting in a conference room, laptop open, Zoom pops up, and my doctor joins. Before she even says a word, I burst into tears, like full on crying. She hasn't even looked at the labs yet, and I'm already crying. And I'm also sitting there thinking, fantastic, I'm literally at work right now. And she just kind of pauses and says, are you okay? And I think it was just one of those moments where the week had been exhausting: work, travel, kids, all the things. And like so many of us, I had just been holding it together, or barely holding it together. So the second that Zoom opened, it all just came out. But she was incredible. She let me have my moment and then she said, okay, let's go through your labs. And then she said something I did not expect. She said, your labs look beautiful. And I started laughing because I thought, beautiful blood? Is that even a thing? But then she said something that honestly felt like such a relief. She told me the only things we're seeing here are functional, nothing concerning, and we're going to get you to your optimal. And that word optimal really stuck with me. Now, I should probably mention something else here. These labs weren't actually through my primary care doctor. I've been working with a functional medicine doctor recently because I've become really interested in looking at my health from a very deep perspective. Traditional medicine tends to run a pretty standard panel of labs, and they're checking to make sure nothing is wrong, which, by the way, is incredibly important. But what I've realized over the past few years is that I'm also interested in what's happening before something goes wrong. I want to know things like nutrient levels, inflammation markers, hormones, all the things that can give you insight into how your body is functioning long before you end up with a problem. Because I think this is where a lot of women fall through the cracks. So many women are told their labs are normal, but they still feel exhausted, foggy, inflamed, or just not like themselves. And that's because normal and optimal are not the same thing. So hearing that my labs looked fantastic was honestly extremely reassuring. But it also made me stop and think about something. Because the reality is, staying healthy takes work. People see the result. They see energy, they see workouts, they see someone who looks healthy. But what they don't always see is everything that goes into maintaining that. Welcome to this episode of Fit Fueled Female. I take supplements every day. I do early morning workouts when I'm traveling and honestly at times would rather sleep. I'm consistent even when life feels chaotic. Thinking about sleep, hydration, nutrition, and recovery are just part of my normal day. I take around 8 supplements a day already, and my doctor actually recommended adding a few more based on my labs. And I had this moment where I thought, wow, this is a lot. Healthy comes with discipline, healthy comes with consistency, healthy comes with effort. And if I'm being honest, there are definitely days where it would be easier to skip the workout, sleep in, or just say, I'll deal with it later. But here's the thing I keep coming back to: the cost of being healthy is real, but the cost of not being healthy is so much higher. Low energy, chronic stress, inflammation, feeling disconnected from your body, those things come with a cost too. So for me, this week was just a reminder that the habits we build quietly over time really do matter. Health doesn't happen overnight. It's not one workout, it's not one supplement, it's not one good week. It's years of small decisions stacking up. And when my doctor said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, it made me realize that all those small choices have actually added up to something really meaningful. Taking care of yourself is not always easy. It requires effort and discipline. But investing in your health is one of the most powerful things that you can do for your future self. And the other thing this experience reminded me of is how important it is for women to advocate for their health. Because the truth is, no one is going to care about your health more than you do. And I don't say that in a negative way. Doctors are incredible. I'm so grateful for the care we have access to. But the reality is the healthcare system is busy, appointments are short, and most of the time, doctors are looking for major red flags. They're asking one main question: is something wrong? But I think a lot of women are asking a different question. We're asking, why am I exhausted even when I'm doing all of the right things? Why does my energy feel inconsistent? Why does my body feel different than it used to? And a lot of that comes back to hormones, because hormones impact about almost everything for women: energy, sleep, mood, metabolism, recovery. And yet, so many of us are told our labs are normal, even when they don't feel normal. And that's where I think a lot of women start to doubt themselves. They start to wonder, maybe this is just stress. Maybe this is just getting older. Maybe this is just what life feels like now. But sometimes it's actually your body trying to tell you something. And advocating for your health means being willing to ask more questions. It means being curious. It means digging a little deeper. And sometimes it means finding practitioners who are willing to look at the full picture. Because when it comes to our health, we're not just patients, we're advocates. And the other thing I've realized as I've gotten into my 40s is that taking care of myself means something on a completely different level than I think it ever used to. It's not just about me anymore. It's about my kids, my family, my future. And I refuse to be the person who just lets herself go in front of her children. I want them to see what it looks like to take care of your body, to move your body, to build healthy habits. And by the way, I am not perfect. I eat the fried food sometimes. I do the things the health books tell you not to, because we all have to live a little, right? But the difference now is that I'm thinking much more long term. I want to be an active, present mom who can keep up with my kids. I want to feel strong. I want to feel energized. I want to live a long, healthy, beautiful life. And advocating for your health is one of the best places to start. But I think the hardest part of all of this is maintaining it. That's honestly what I found myself wrestling with after that doctor's appointment, because discipline, it's not easy. And the reality is, staying healthy requires consistency. It's consistency in how you eat. It's consistency in how you move your body. It's consistency in staying active even when life is busy. And that's not always easy. There are mornings when it would be much easier to stay in bed than get up and work out. There are days when you're traveling or running between meetings and grabbing something quick would be easier than making a healthy choice. But the truth is, the results we want from our health don't come from what we do once in a while. They come from what we do consistently. And that's where the real work is. But there's another part of this that I don't think we talk about enough, and that's the sacrifices. Because everything in life comes with a cost. For me, getting up every morning and going to the gym means I'm not there for the morning shuffle at home. I'm not the one getting my kids up. I'm not the one making breakfast. I usually walk in for the second half of the morning routine. And I know that's not always easy on my husband on the other side of that. But the reality is, we all have to find a way to make things fit into our lives. And having a partner who supports and encourages healthy habits makes a huge difference. I'm one lucky girl. But the sacrifices, they don't stop there. Maintaining this kind of lifestyle also means making choices about how I live day to day. Sometimes I can't go out late because I have to work out in the morning. I have to think about my sleep. I have to build in time for things like winding down at night, doing my skincare routine, and actually giving my body enough time to recover. Because if I want to get up early and move my body, stay consistent, and still show up fully for my work and my family, sleep matters. And that means sometimes saying no to things. It means protecting your routines. It means, I don't know, not always worrying about how glamorous it is. But those little lifestyle decisions are part of what makes the bigger health habits sustainable. Because health isn't just something you do for an hour at the gym. It's a series of choices you make all day long. For me, I try really hard to get my workouts in Monday through Friday so that my weekends are fully with my family. But life doesn't always cooperate. Over the past couple of weeks, that routine has not worked perfectly at all. One morning I had an early flight and there was no way I was getting a workout in. Another time my husband was traveling and the whole morning routine was on me. And there's no world where I'm doing 5 straight Peloton rides with 2 kids to get ready for school. So sometimes the routine has to shift. But the one thing that doesn't change is that I always move. I always find a way to fit something in. Because consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up even when the plan changes. And I'm not going to lie. When my doctor said, keep doing what you're doing, part of me laughed because The very things that keep you healthy don't magically get easier with time. It's a balance, a constant moving balance. So if there's one tangible power move I want to leave you with today, it's this: advocate for your health. And that can look really simple. Ask more questions at your next doctor's appointment. If something feels off in your body, don't ignore it. If someone tells you everything is normal, but you still don't feel like yourself, keep digging. Get curious about your body. Look at your habits. Look at your nutrition. Look at how you're moving your body, because no one is going to care about your health more than you do. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply decide that your health matters enough to pay attention to it. Not perfectly, not obsessively, but intentionally. Because the small choices you make today are the ones that will quietly shape your future. So what's been fueling me lately? Honestly, seeing the work pay off. Because when you're in the thick of it day to day, you don't always stop and recognize the progress you're making. At work, you're running 1,000 miles an hour, you're being tactical, you're putting out fires, and sometimes it feels like you're not being as strategic as you like. But then you sit back and realize, wow, I've really accomplished a lot over the past couple of months. And it's the same thing with your health. When you're in the middle of it, it just feels like effort every day. Getting up early, getting the workout in, trying to eat well, taking the supplements, doing all the things that add up. And there's not always an immediate reward, but then something happens months later. Maybe it's your blood work coming back looking amazing. Maybe it's putting on a bathing suit and realizing, okay, the hard work is paying off. And those moments, they're really validating, because sometimes what fuels you is simply knowing that you're doing the right things. And having that confirmation that the effort is actually leading somewhere is pretty awesome. Because let's be honest, if I didn't have a reason to get up at 5 a.m. most mornings, I probably wouldn't. But knowing that my work matters, that's pretty powerful motivation for me. So if there's one thing I hope you take away from this episode, it's this: your health is worth advocating for. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to dig deeper. And don't be afraid to take ownership of the habits that help you feel your best. Because the truth is, health isn't built overnight. It's built through small choices repeated consistently over time. And yes, those choices sometimes come with sacrifices, but they also come with incredible rewards: energy, strength, confidence, and the ability to show up fully for the life that you're building. For me, this week was a reminder that the work we put into our health really does add up, even when it doesn't feel like it day to day. So keep showing up, keep taking care of yourself, and keep advocating for the life and the health you want to live. And with that, stay fit, stay fueled, and stay consistent. I can't wait to see you next time.